What's up guys, Misha here from Beyond the Huddle and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at ADA. We'll take a look at a specific level on ADA right now that I think is a very critical level. And this setup, well, I wouldn't even say setup, this pattern here reminds me of what we saw on Bitcoin back in 2018. So if you were part of the crypto market back then, you probably know what I'm talking about, but if not, I'll show it to you guys. Kind of what I'm seeing here that reminds me of that Bitcoin move in 2018. And yeah, so let's go ahead and let's get started with the video. All right guys, so we are now looking at the ADA USDT price, and we're on a daily time frame, and you guys can see that I have my yearly volume profiles plotted. And what you guys will notice is we are within last year's value area. We already used the value area high as resistance. So the year opened right there where the divider is. Use the value area high as resistance right here. And now we are coming down. And we're coming down to this very, very important level. Now I know there's a lot of people online talking about this level, how we've been hitting it however many times and it has not been broken. And that reminds me of this, guys. If you were part of the 2018 crypto bear market, you remember when everybody was saying, hey, this $6,000 level on Bitcoin is not going to get broken. That's going to be the bottom and we're going to continue. Well, that did not happen, guys. And there's a reason why it did not happen. Whenever a level gets hit so many times, what's actually happening is not that the level is getting stronger. It's actually getting weaker. And the reason why it is getting weaker is because every single time you tap this level, you're eating up the liquidity, the support that is at that level. So eventually over time, you ate up all that liquidity and now it's over. There's no longer any buy limit supporting the market. They've all been filled and price can slice through it. So that's why usually when you get those levels that get hit so many different times, the moment it does snap, it goes, right? It goes very aggressive. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. So when we look at the ADA one, you guys can see so many times we try to break it, we're not able to do so. And then finally, right there, we're sitting right on the level. So now I don't have this level on my chart because it's been hit so many times. The reason why I personally have this level on my chart is because I was looking at the past couple quarters, looking at their value areas and how that was developing. And this level right here is actually 2021's Q3 value area low. So that's why I have this level on my chart. It's not because it's been hit a bunch of different times. It just so happens that it's been hit a bunch of different times. And it reminds me of that Bitcoin scenario that I showed you guys. Now, it doesn't mean that ADA is going to collapse right now because of that. Absolutely not. It could actually bounce off of the level and continue on its way to the upside. But we have to be aware of the fact that there's a potential for it to drop. And if it does drop, what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at a pretty aggressive drop, guys, because looking at this right here, if I go to my weekly time frame, you guys can see there is no support here. Support only comes all the way down here, right? So weekly demand right here, which I kind of refined a little bit. I refined it to this 3-day demand right here. Still called it weekly because that was the main reason why I was looking at this area. And that's about 37.1 cents. Okay, so that's a pretty aggressive drop. That's about a 64% drop. And if that does not hold, then you're looking at last year's value low, which is 19.8 cents. So that's also another massive drop. And that one, I mean, that would be about an 80% drop from current prices, not from the high, but from current prices. So this is all possible scenarios that could happen on ADA. Now, what's another possible scenario on ADA that would take us to the upside? Well, if we're able to bounce off of this level and break this 3-day supply right here, which I have drawn out here, and it lines up with the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly open. If we're able to come back up and break this level, then we're very likely going to come up to this Q4 of 2021. We're going to come back up to that value area high, which would give us more about a 122% move. So either way it goes, this is going to be a massive move coming on ADA. Now, is it going to be to the upside? Is it going to be to the downside? What I'm paying attention to is the lower time frame model. So I'm looking at last week's volume profile, and I'm looking at where last week's value area is. Now looking at this value area low here, we're below the value area low, which in my book is a bearish signal. That means we're very likely to continue to the downside. So now the other model that I'm paying very close attention to is going to be my 3-day model. Now, if I look at my 3-day model, now it becomes very, very interesting because look at this. were already bouncing off of the 3-day value area low. So we bounced off of that, came back up, tried to break the daily open, but we were unable to do so. And now we're kind of just consolidating right there. Okay, so we're consolidating within the previous 3-day candles value area. Now, what I think is actually happening is I think, and you guys can see the same thing on Bitcoin, how today Bitcoin's candle is somewhat of a doji. You guys can see this right here, still within the previous day's range. I think what's happening is the market is really waiting on tomorrow's Fed meeting, because people are waiting to see, okay, are the Feds really going to raise interest rates or are they going to back off of that? So it's going to be very, very important. And that's pretty much going to dictate where I think the market is going to go next. Because if we look at Bitcoin, and you guys saw my video yesterday, I mentioned how we could see a move up to here potentially, and then price would come back down. Now, this scenario right here is assuming that interest rates are raised so that the Federal Reserve doesn't back off on their interest rate cycle plans, and that the asset managers keep their shorts very, very high. If that happens, then yeah, if we do get a move up, I would see it as a sell the rally move, which would look like something like this on ADA, where we would potentially get a bounce off of here, come up here, and then I would see this as a sell the rally right into this 3-day supply. Now, if the Fed starts to back off, then that could end up being very bullish for the market. And what we could potentially see is asset managers start to lessen their shorts, and then that would allow for the market to go back to the upside, including Bitcoin off of that weekly demand right here, and then ADA off of this level. So there's a lot of different factors here that could cause this market to either tank or start to go into the upside. But I think the bigger risk here is this downside risk of about 64%. That's a pretty big drawdown if you're in on this move right here. If you're long here and it ends up going down because there isn't any support, then that's a pretty disgusting drop. So that's what I'm seeing on ADA, guys. I'm going to be paying attention to these lower time frame models. And in order for this to go bullish, we're going to need it to go back above last week's value area low, which means it would also go back above the previous 3-day value area high. And then we're going to pay very, very close attention to this area right here. So the way I would classify this level as broken is if we get a 3-day candle or a weekly candle close below. The moment we get that, then I would consider this level broken, because you guys can see this has not happened at all throughout this entire time. So the moment I get a 3-day or a weekly candle close below this, I'm looking at this as a break, and it's going to be a very steep drop to the downside. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys got some value from this video. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure to click the notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And if you're interested in joining our Discord, it's free. There's a link down below in the description. We also have our intro course, which is free. You can check that out. And there's also the premium membership, where you can learn all about the different things that we use in our trading, and you can also get access to our indicator suite. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.